6 months after my wife died, I carried her cracked reading glasses into a tiny repair shop in Portland because I could not throw away the last thing she had touched. The technician looked inside the frame, locked the front door, and whispered, "Evan, you need a lawyer before your son gets you declared insane." Then he showed me the hidden storage chip. On that screen, my dead wife was still fighting for me. Sign it. My son shoved the clipboard across my kitchen island hard enough to knock over my coffee. The papers slid through the spill and stopped against my hand. Across from me, Connor Miller stood in his tailored navy coat, jaw tight, eyes dry, pretending this was kindness. Beside him, his wife, Brooke, leaned against my refrigerator like she owned the place already. Her phone was in her hand. Her smile looked rehearsed. "Dad," Connor said, softer now, as if soft could cover rot. "This is not punishment. It is protection. You forgot where Mom's life insurance folder was. You missed your dentist appointment. You left the stove on." "I boiled water," I said. "You are declining." Brooke clicked her tongue. "Everybody sees it. The neighbors see it. Your doctor sees it. We are only trying to keep you from embarrassing yourself." I looked at the top page. Durable power of attorney, healthcare directive, banking authorization, trust amendment. Everything a man needed to become a ghost in his own house. Connor tapped the signature line. "Mom would be ashamed of how stubborn you are." There it was. The knife. He always used my wife when he wanted me to bleed quietly. I set my coffee mug upright. My hand did not shake. "Your mother left me instructions." Connor froze for half a second. Brooke saw it too. Her smile vanished. "What instructions?" Connor asked. I slid the clipboard back to him with one finger. "The kind you should have found first. My name is Evan Miller. I spent most of my life as a high school history teacher in Oregon, which means I knew how to stand in front of a room full of people and let silence do the work. My wife, Rachel, used to say that was my most dangerous trait. I looked harmless until I stopped talking. Rachel had been gone since early spring. The official explanation was a sudden cardiac event in her sleep. Clean, simple, the kind of phrase people use because it lets them bring casseroles instead of questions. But Rachel had never trusted clean explanations. She was a nurse practitioner for most of her adult life, sharp-eyed, calm, and impossible to fool twice. She noticed when people lied by the way they reached for a glass of water. She noticed when a pill bottle moved half an inch on the bathroom shelf. She noticed when our son stopped looking her in the eye. I noticed none of it. Grief had made me slow. Connor counted on that. He came by almost every other day after the funeral, always carrying something practical. A stack of forms, a grocery bag, a casserole from Brooke's mother, a folder with sticky notes, already placed where he wanted me to sign. "You do not need to think about this," he would say. "That is why I am here." At first, I mistook control for care. I wanted to believe my son was still my son. Then the glasses broke. Rachel's reading glasses had sat on her desk under the window for months, folded beside a half-finished crossword and a ceramic dish full of paper clips. I walked past them every morning and every night. I could not touch them. It felt like disturbing a room where she might still walk back in and say, "Evan, did you move my things again?" That Monday, rain hit the window in clean slanted lines. The house smelled like coffee and old lavender soap. I opened her desk drawer looking for the warranty card on the water heater, and my fingers brushed the glasses. The left hinge snapped when I lifted them. It sounded tiny. It felt violent. I sat down hard in her chair and held the broken frame in my palm. Rachel had worn those glasses every evening. She used them to read medical journals, mystery novels, recipes she never followed. She used them the night before she died. I could not throw them away. So I drove across town to Hawthorne Optical, a narrow little shop wedged between a record store and a vegan bakery. The owner, Leo Ramirez, had been fixing my glasses for years. He was one of those quiet men who looked at objects more closely than people. The bell above the door rang. Leo looked up from a repair tray. "Evan," he said, and his face softened. "How are you holding up?" "Badly," I said, but politely. He gave a sad little laugh. I laid Rachel's glasses on the counter. His expression changed. Not sadness, recognition. He picked them up with 2 fingers, turned them toward the light, and went very still. "Where did you get these?" he asked. They were Rachel's. I know. The way he said it made the air leave my lungs. He walked to the front door, flipped the sign to closed, pulled the shade down, and locked the deadbolt. Leo? He did not answer. He led me into the back room, past shelves of lenses and tiny screws. He cleared a space on his workbench, placed the glasses beneath a lamp, and took out a magnifier. I promised her I would not tell you unless something happened to her, he said. My mouth went dry. What did Rachel ask you to do? He touched the inside of the right temple piece. A thin panel popped loose, so small I would never have seen it. She asked me to install a recording module. Video, audio, motion, activated. She said she needed proof but would not tell me of what. The room tilted. Leo connected a cable to the frame and plugged it into his laptop. A folder opened. There were recordings. Several of them, all from the weeks before Rachel died. Leo did not ask permission. He clicked the first file. The screen flickered, then steadied. My kitchen. The blue tile backsplash Rachel had picked out after an argument that ended with us both laughing in a hardware store aisle. The white cabinet near the stove. The little wooden tray where she kept vitamins and prescriptions. Then Connor entered the frame. My son. He wore a gray quarter zip and the calm expression he used when persuading clients at the wealth management firm where he worked. He moved quickly. He opened the cabinet, took down Rachel's daily medication organizer, and swapped something from his pocket into it. I leaned closer. No, I said. Leo's hand hovered over the keyboard. Avon, play it. Connor put the organizer back exactly where it had been. Then he wiped the counter with a paper towel. Not because there was a spill, because he was careful. The timestamp said it was the evening before Rachel died. Leo paused the video. My ears rang. There is more, he said. The second file showed Rachel sitting at the kitchen table. The glasses were on the table, pointed toward the hallway. Connor stood over her. His voice came through low and sharp. You are confused, Mom. I know what I saw. Rachel's voice was steady, but I heard the fear underneath. You moved money out of the trust. I moved money to protect this family. You moved it to cover Brooke's mess. Brooke stepped into frame then. She looked different when she thought nobody outside the room could see her. No sweet daughter-in-law smile, no charity brunch face, just anger. You always hated me, Brooke snapped. You never thought I was good enough for your perfect little boy. Rachel looked at Connor. Tell your wife to leave my kitchen. Brooke laughed. Your kitchen? Honey, you have no idea how fast a house can change hands when the right paperwork is already signed. Connor bent toward Rachel. Listen to me. You are going to stop digging. You are going to stop calling the bank. You are going to stop asking about transfers. And you are going to stop filling Dad's head with panic. Rachel did not move. Connor's voice dropped. If you keep pushing, I will make sure everyone believes you are losing your mind long before anything happens. I felt Leo looking at me. I could not blink. Rachel whispered, anything happens. Connor smiled. You are a nurse. You know fragile bodies surprise people. The recording ended. For a few seconds, I heard only the buzz of Leo's fluorescent light. Then he opened the last file. It was audio only. Rachel's voice filled the back room. Evan, sweetheart, if you are hearing this, then I waited too long. I gripped the edge of the workbench. I am sorry. I thought I could handle it. Connor has been taking money from the family trust. Brooke has debts tied to her real estate business. Private lenders. Bad people. People who do not send friendly notices. I found transfers. I found forged authorizations. I confronted him. He threatened me. She breathed in, shaky but controlled. I changed my will. I moved the original to a safe deposit box at Willamette First Bank downtown. Box 417. The key is taped inside the back cover of my old cookbook, the red one you hate because the spine falls apart. Do not confront Connor alone. Call Dana Whitaker. She handled my clinic contract years ago. She knows elder abuse law. Trust Leo. Trust Dana. Do not trust our son. Her voice cracked on the last sentence. I love you. I know you will want to save him. Evan, do not. Save yourself. The file clicked off. I folded forward like someone had cut every string in my body. Leo touched my shoulder. I am sorry. I wanted to scream at him. At Connor. At Rachel for carrying fear alone. at myself for sleeping upstairs while the woman I loved was fighting in the dark. Instead, I stood. Make copies. Leo blinked. What? Copies. Now. He stared at me for a second, then nodded, and moved fast. That was the moment something inside me changed. Not healed, not hardened. Changed. When I walked into that shop, I was a widower trying to repair a pair of glasses. When I walked out, I was evidence with a pulse. Dana Whitaker's office sat above a coffee roaster in downtown Portland. There was no marble lobby, no skyline view, just gray carpet, metal shelves, a noisy heater, and a woman in a black cardigan who looked like she had ruined many dangerous men before lunch. She watched the recordings without interrupting. Not once. When Rachel's final message ended, Dana took off her glasses and set them on the desk. Have you told Connor you know? No. Good. That may be why you are still alive and legally competent. The words hit hard. Legally competent? Dana slid a folder toward me. Your son already filed a preliminary petition for emergency conservatorship. He claims you are deteriorating, financially vulnerable, and unable to manage your affairs after your wife's death. I stared at the paper. My son did what? He says you are paranoid. He says you forget basic tasks. He says you have accused him of stealing without evidence. He attached a letter from a psychiatrist. I have never seen a psychiatrist. The letter is not from your psychiatrist. It is from his. Dana leaned back. Connor does not need you dead first. He can make you legally disappear while you are still breathing. Once a judge gives him emergency authority, he controls your accounts, your house, your medical decisions, your communication. Then if something happens to you, it looks like the tragic end of a confused, grieving widower. The room went cold. What do I do? Nothing dramatic. Nothing emotional. You will not call him. You will not threaten him. You will not accuse him. You will let him think you are scared, tired, and easier to hurt than you really are. Dana opened a yellow legal pad. We move in 3 lanes: probate court, criminal referral, financial freeze. Rachel's new will comes first. If that document is valid, Connor's motive becomes clear. If the trust records show theft, we freeze the accounts. If the recordings are authenticated, we take them to Portland Police Elder Crimes and the district attorney. I nodded, but my throat felt packed with sand. Dana's eyes sharpened. Evan, listen to me. Your son works in wealth management. He understands signatures, beneficiary changes, trustee powers, and how to make money vanish without tripping alarms. He is not improvising. He has been building this. How long? We find out. My phone buzzed on the desk. Connor. Dana raised a finger to her lips, tapped a recorder app on her own phone, and pointed at mine. I answered. Hey, Dad. Where are you? Running errands. You did not answer earlier. I was driving. A pause. Driving where? To get lunch. With who? I looked at Dana. Her face said stay dull. By myself, Connor. He exhaled like he was the exhausted parent, and I was the difficult child. Dad, this is what I mean. You are not communicating. Brooke and I are worried sick. Tell Brooke I appreciate the concern. She loves you. No, I said quietly. She loves paperwork. Dana's eyebrows lifted. On the line, Connor went silent. What does that mean? It means I am tired. We can talk later. I am coming over tonight. No, Dad. His voice sharpened. Do not start this. I said no. You are making a mistake. I have made bigger ones. He hung up. Dana stopped the recording. Good. That did not feel good. It felt like a man putting his hand on a hot stove and learning the burner works. She stood, grabbed her coat, and pointed at the door. Now we go to the bank. Willamette First Bank smelled like carpet cleaner and old money. Dana had called ahead, using phrases like potential elder exploitation and preservation of estate documents. The branch manager met us with a stiff smile that collapsed the moment Dana handed her a court preservation letter. The safe deposit room was quiet enough to hear my own breathing. Box 417 slid out with a metallic scrape. I had found the key exactly where Rachel said it would be, taped inside that ridiculous red cookbook full of handwritten notes and falling pages. I used to tease her about keeping it. She used to say, "One day, this mess will save you." She was right. Inside the box were 3 things. A sealed envelope with my name on it, A notarized will. A flash drive. I touched the envelope first. Dana said nothing. Rachel's handwriting nearly broke me. Evan, my love, if this letter is in your hands, then Connor forced the truth to outlive me. I read standing up. I could not sit. She had found the first missing transfer in January. A trust distribution described as home repairs, but no contractor had been paid. Then another transfer marked medical reimbursement. Then another, buried under tax planning. The money went through a limited liability company Connor controlled, then into Brooke's failing real estate staging business, then to private lenders after she lost investor funds. Rachel had confronted him. He cried first. Then he raged. Then he threatened. That was Connor's pattern. Tears, blame, knife. He told her he had already spoken to a doctor about my memory. He told her I would sign anything if he framed it as protection. He told her nobody would believe an aging nurse with grief and blood pressure issues over her successful son. Rachel wrote that she had changed her will to leave most of her separate assets and half the house equity to a nursing scholarship foundation. Connor would receive a small fixed inheritance and nothing else unless he cooperated with a full trust audit. She had also placed a hold request with the bank, asking that any suspicious transfer from our accounts trigger manual review. My wife had not been a victim waiting for the dark. She had built tripwires. Dana unfolded the will. It is valid, she said after several minutes. Clean witnesses, notary, proper language. Connor is not disinherited completely, which makes it harder for him to claim she was acting out of spite. What is on the drive? Dana plugged it into an offline laptop she carried in her bag. There were scanned bank records, screenshots, emails, and one video. The video showed Rachel at our dining table. Her face was pale, but her eyes were clear. If this has to be used in court, she said on screen, I want the judge to know I am of sound mind. I am recording this voluntarily. My son, Connor Miller, has threatened to petition for control over my husband's finances. He has stolen from our family trust. He has tried to pressure me into silence. I believe Evan may be in danger if I die unexpectedly. She lifted a folder toward the camera. I have included the documents. Follow the money. Connor never could resist, leaving himself a clean story and a dirty trail. The video ended. Dana closed the laptop. For the first time, she smiled. It was not warm. It was surgical. Your wife was excellent. She always was. Dana looked at the bank manager through the glass door. We freeze the trust today. That afternoon moved fast. Dana filed an emergency notice in probate court attaching Rachel's will, the preservation letter, and enough financial irregularities to make a judge uncomfortable. She called a forensic accountant named Martin Shu, a soft-spoken man with silver hair and the dead eyes of someone who had read too many spreadsheets created by liars. Martin found the pattern in hours. Connor had taken money in chunks, always described as legitimate reimbursements, roof repairs, medical reimbursements, tax reserves, consulting fees, each one small enough to seem ordinary by itself. Together, they formed a theft with a tie and haircut. Brooke's company was worse. She staged luxury homes for sale, but the invoices were inflated, duplicated, or completely fake. She had borrowed from private lenders after a failed development deal outside Bend. The lenders were not banks. They were men with clean websites and ugly reputations. Connor had been feeding them trust money to keep Brooke standing. When the trust slowed, Rachel became a problem. When Rachel died, I became the last locked door. By evening, Dana had me in a hotel under a name I had not used since college. She took my phone, turned off location sharing, and gave me a prepaid one. Do not go home tonight. Connor has a key. Of course he does. He is my son. Dana's face softened for a moment. He is also a man who came to your kitchen with paperwork designed to erase you. That night, I slept badly in a room that smelled like bleach and rain-soaked carpet. At some point before dawn, the prepaid phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Mr. Miller, my name is Grace Bell. I used to work for Brooke. Do not meet Connor alone. He has a doctor ready to say you are unstable. He and Brooke are planning to get the house listed before Thanksgiving. I have documents. I am scared. I read it twice. Then I forwarded it to Dana. Her reply came fast. Coffee shop on Division. Public table. I will be nearby. Grace Bell arrived wearing a raincoat and the face of someone who had not slept enough to lie well. She was in her early 30s, with a canvas tote clutched against her ribs. She sat across from me without ordering. I should not be here, she said. That seems to be a theme lately. She gave a short, nervous laugh and took a folder from her tote. I was Brooke's operations manager. I quit last week. She told everyone I stole client files. I did not. I copied them. Why? Because she asked me to backdate invoices after your wife died. My fingers tightened around my cup. Grace slid documents across the table. Brooke's company was collapsing. She owed money to lenders. Connor used trust funds to cover her. But there is more. They were building a case that you were incompetent before they filed anything. Missed appointments, stove incidents, confusion, paranoia. Half of it was staged. What do you mean staged? Grace swallowed. Brooke had me call your dentist and cancel your appointment, then tell Connor you forgot it. She had a cleaning service, move things in your house and take pictures, so it looked like you misplaced important items. Connor copied your signature from old school district forms. They had a doctor write notes after phone calls with Connor, not after seeing you. The coffee shop noise faded. Grace kept going. And the stove? Brooke turned the burner on when she dropped off groceries. She waited outside until smoke came from the pan, then called Connor so he could rush in and save you. I remembered that day. Connor bursting through the door. Brooke crying. Me confused because I was sure I had turned everything off. They had made me doubt myself. For weeks, I had looked at my own hands like they belonged to someone unreliable. What else? I asked. Grace hesitated. He recorded you. I know. No, not just phone calls. He put a camera in your living room under the pretense of a smart home safety device. Brooke joked that they had to capture you looking crazy before you looked dead. The words sat between us. Dead. Grace covered her mouth. I am sorry. I should have come forward sooner. Why now? Because Brooke said Rachel was old news. Grace's eyes filled. She said it in the office. She said, Rachel is old news. Evan is the asset. And everybody laughed because they thought she meant the house. I do not think she meant only the house. I stared out the window at people walking dogs in the rain, living in a world where sons did not turn fathers into assets. Then I looked back at Grace. Will you testify? She wiped her eyes. Yes, but I need protection. Brooke knows I copied files. Dana appeared beside the table as if the word testify had summoned her. We can help with that. Grace jumped. Dana sat down. Miss Bell, I am Dana Whitaker. You just became very important. By sunset, the circle had tightened around Connor. The trust was frozen. The bank had blocked 2 attempted transfers. Connor tried to initiate that morning. Probate court scheduled an emergency hearing. Dana had delivered evidence to the Elder Crimes Unit. Martin Shu was building a map of every stolen dollar. Grace signed a statement. Connor, meanwhile, kept calling. I did not answer. Then Brooke called. I did answer that one because Dana told me to. Evan, Brooke said, voice sweet as grocery store frosting. We are so worried. Connor is beside himself. Yvette, where are you? Safe. She laughed softly. That is a dramatic word. You chose a dramatic family. Her tone cooled. Listen to me. You are grieving. You are confused. And people are taking advantage of that. Dana Whitaker does not care about you. She smells estate money. You smell it too. Silence. Then Brooke dropped the sugar. You lonely old men are all the same. You think sentiment protects you. It does not. Paper protects people. Paper moves houses, accounts, trusts, bodies. Connor understands that. Rachel understood it too late. My pulse slowed. There it was. Rachel understood it too late. Dana, sitting across from me in the hotel room, pointed at the recorder and nodded. I said, say that again. Brooke caught herself. What? Say Rachel understood it too late. You are pathetic. Better pathetic than recorded. Another silence. This one breathed. Brooke whispered, you think you are clever? No, I married clever. I am just following her notes. She hung up. Dana stopped the recording. Beautiful. Does it help? It helps show knowledge, pressure, and contempt. More importantly, it tells us she is rattled. Good. Dana studied me. You are calmer than I expected. I taught teenagers for decades. A liar with confidence is not new to me. But this liar is your son. I looked at Rachel's glasses on the table between us. No, this liar is wearing my son's face. The emergency hearing took place the next morning in Multnomah County Probate Court. The courtroom was smaller than I expected. Fluorescent lights, beige walls, a judge with silver hair and no patience for theater. Connor arrived with a lawyer named Patricia Vale, sharp suit, sharper mouth. Brooke sat behind him in a cream coat, legs crossed, chin lifted. If you did not know better, they looked like concerned family members, victimized by an ungrateful old man. I sat beside Dana. Connor looked back at me once. His eyes were wet, not with sadness, with performance. When the judge called the matter, Patricia Vale stood first. Your Honor, this is an emergency petition for protective conservatorship. Mr. Evan Miller has shown signs of cognitive decline following the sudden death of his wife. His son, Connor Miller, has attempted to step in responsibly, but outside influences have encouraged paranoia and hostility. We ask the court to appoint temporary authority before assets are mismanaged or Mr. Miller harms himself. Connor lowered his head at the right moment. Brooke dabbed her eyes with a tissue. Dana whispered, "Cheap seats, good acting." The judge looked at her. "Miss Whitaker?" Dana stood. Your Honor, the petition is not protective. It is predatory. We have evidence that Connor Miller stole from the family trust, forged documents, staged incidents to create the appearance of cognitive decline, and pressured his father to sign away control after the suspicious death of Rachel Miller. Patricia Vale snapped upright. Objection. Inflammatory. This is a hearing, counsel, the judge said. Not a jury trial. Sit down. Dana handed the clerk a flash drive and a binder. We have Rachel Miller's valid will, her recorded statement, financial records, and sworn testimony from a former employee of Brooke Miller's company. Connor turned pale. Brooke stopped dabbing. The judge watched Rachel's video first. My wife appeared on the courtroom monitor. Alive, tired, steady. I believe Evan may be in danger if I die unexpectedly. Connor stared at the table. Brooke stared at me. I did not blink. Then the judge read Grace's statement. Then Martin's preliminary financial report. Then the bank hold notice. Then Dana played Brooke's call. Rachel understood it too late. The words filled the room. Brooke whispered, "That is out of context." Dana turned slowly. "Then give us the context." Brooke said nothing. The judge removed her glasses. "Mr. Connor Miller, did you attempt to initiate transfers from the family trust yesterday after receiving notice of a dispute?" Connor's lawyer touched his arm. "Do not answer." The judge's face hardened. "That tells me enough for today." She denied the emergency conservatorship. She suspended Connor's authority over every family account. She appointed an independent temporary fiduciary. She ordered preservation of all electronic devices belonging to Connor and Brooke. She referred the matter to law enforcement for investigation. Then she looked directly at me. "Mr. Miller, the court finds no basis today to question your capacity." 4 words nearly made me cry. Your capacity. My mind was still mine. Connor stood too fast. "This is insane," he said. The judge's eyes snapped to him. "Careful." He pointed at me. "You are doing this because you cannot handle Mom being gone. You need a villain. Fine, make me one. But when you realize what you have done, do not expect me to come clean up the mess." I stood slowly. The whole courtroom seemed to hold its breath. I looked at my son, the boy who used to sleep with a baseball glove under his pillow, the man who had tried to cage me with paperwork. "You are the mess." His mouth tightened. Brooke hissed, "You bitter old fool." I turned to her. "Your invoice trail says otherwise." Dana coughed once, trying not to smile. That should have been the beginning of the end. It was not. Men like Connor do not stop when exposed. They adapt. 2 days after the hearing, I returned home with Dana's private investigator, a retired sheriff's deputy named Calvin Price. He checked the doors, windows, attic, garage, and crawl space. He found the living room camera hidden inside a fake smart speaker on the bookshelf. He also found an envelope taped behind the laundry room cabinet. Inside was a printed note in my handwriting. I cannot live without Rachel. I am sorry. My handwriting. Almost. Calvin held it with gloved hands. Someone planned to find this after you could not explain it. I stared at the sentence. No poetry. No love. No Rachel. Connor had forged me as badly as he loved me. Calvin kept searching. In the garage, under a storage bin, he found a small bag with my old medication bottles, a bottle of bourbon I had never bought, and a receipt from a pharmacy in Vancouver paid with a prepaid card. Not enough to prove everything by itself. Enough to make my skin crawl. Dana called Detective Marisol Grant from Portland Police Elder Crimes. Grant arrived in plain clothes, took one look at the staged evidence, and said, "He is escalating." Her voice was flat. I had learned to trust flat voices. They belonged to people who were done being surprised. Detective Grant interviewed me at my own dining table while Calvin photographed everything. Did Connor have access to your medications? Yes. Your handwriting samples? He has old letters, school forms, birthday cards. Case? Yes. Alarm code? Yes. She paused. Mr. Miller, I want you out of this house for now. I figured. And I want your permission to set up controlled contact. Dana leaned forward. What kind? Detective Grant looked at me. Connor believes his plan is collapsing. People like that often need one more conversation. They need to blame, threaten, bargain, confess just enough to feel powerful again. If he contacts you, we record it properly. If he comes here, we are waiting. No. Dana's answer was instant. Grant did not blink. I am not asking you to like it. I am telling you it may be the fastest way to stop him before he manufactures something worse. Dana turned to me. Evan, you do not owe anyone your safety as bait. I looked at Rachel's chair. She had sat there the morning she decided to record the truth without telling me because she thought she could keep danger contained by carrying it alone. I would not make her mistake. I will do it, I said. But not alone, not blind, not stupid. Grant nodded. That is the only way I would allow it. Have you ever wondered how far you would go if the person hunting you still called you Dad? The opportunity came sooner than any of us wanted. Connor texted me that evening. We need to talk without lawyers. Mom would hate this. Meet me at the house tomorrow morning. Dana read it and cursed under her breath. Detective Grant read it and smiled without humor. He wants home field. He wants privacy, Dana said. He wants control, I said. Grant looked at me. Then we take all three away from him. The plan was simple, which made it terrifying. I would go to the house. I would sit in the kitchen. I would wear a recording device under my shirt and carry a panic button in my pocket. Detective Grant and 2 officers would be inside the neighbor's empty house with a clear view through the kitchen window. Calvin would monitor the back alley. Dana would wait in an unmarked car down the block. The house itself would have backup audio hidden in the smoke detector over the dining room because Grant did not trust any one device. Do not accuse too fast, Grant told me. Let him talk. He needs to feel smarter than you. That part will not be hard for him. Dana squeezed my arm. Do not be brave. Be useful. I almost laughed. Rachel would have loved Dana. The next morning, Portland was all gray sky and wet pavement. I entered my house through the front door just after sunrise. The air inside smelled stale, like a place holding its breath. I made coffee because my hands needed a job. Then I sat at the kitchen table where Rachel's glasses had once recorded our son's threats. At first, there was only rain tapping the window. Then the front door opened. Connor stepped inside without knocking. He wore jeans, a black rain jacket, and no wedding ring. Interesting. His eyes went straight to my hands, then to the corners of the ceiling, then to the window. Smart. Not smart enough. Dad, he said. Connor. He looked thinner than at the hearing. Sharper. Angrier. The grief mask was gone. So was the concerned son. He sat across from me. You have no idea what you are doing. I know where the coffee is. This is not a joke. Neither was the camera in your mother's glasses. His eyes flickered. There it was. You think that proves something? He said. It proves she was afraid of you. No. It proves she was paranoid. She had been declining for months. Rachel charted medication errors at the clinic better than most surgeons write orders. Try a different lie. His jaw flexed. You always did that. What? Made her the smart one, the saint, the perfect wife, perfect Rachel, perfect nurse, perfect mother. Do you know what it was like growing up under that? Every mistake was a disappointment. Every risk was a character flaw. You stole money. I borrowed money. You forged authorizations. I moved family assets for family needs. You staged my decline. He smiled then. Small, ugly. You made that easy. I felt my thumb touch the panic button in my pocket. Not yet. Connor leaned back. You want the truth? Fine. Yes. Brooke's business got into trouble. Yes, I used trust money. Yes, Mom found out. But she was going to destroy everything over pride. Over theft. Over numbers on a screen. Those numbers were your mother's work. My work. Our house. Our life. His face hardened. You had your life. The words landed like a slap. Connor kept going. You and Mom got the pension, the house, the nice little moral story. I got pressure. Clients with more money than God. A wife drowning in debt. Lenders calling at midnight. People threatening to come to my office. And Mom wanted to teach me accountability. She wanted you to stop. She wanted me humiliated. No, I said. She wanted you alive. For 1 second, something human crossed his face. Then Brooke's voice came from the hallway. That is sweet. Useless, but sweet. I turned. Brooke walked in through the side door, holding Rachel's red cookbook. My chest tightened. She had been in the house before me. Or after. Somehow, Connor looked annoyed. I told you to wait in the car, and I told you not to trust him to sit still. She tossed the cookbook onto the counter. I found the hiding place, Evan. Cute. The key is gone, obviously, but cute. Detective Grant had warned me not to look toward the window. I did not. Brooke circled the kitchen slowly. You know what your problem is? You think Rachel was some mastermind from beyond the grave. She was a scared woman with a pair of toy glasses and a flair for melodrama. She was enough to beat you in court. Brooke laughed. That little hearing? Please. Temporary noise. Connor has a real lawyer now. I have investors who will swear the invoices were legitimate. Grace is a disgruntled ex-employee. You are a grieving widower being manipulated by an ambulance chaser. Connor muttered. Brooke. No. She snapped. I am tired of whispering around him. She leaned over the table, close enough that I smelled mint gum. You want ugly truth? Rachel died and the world kept moving. You will die someday too. The house will sell. The money will move. People will forget the sad little nurse with her sad little glasses. I looked at Connor. You let her talk about your mother like that? Connor's eyes lowered. Brooke saw it and pounced. Oh, do not start pretending you are offended now. You called Rachel a roadblock. Your word, not mine. Connor stood. Shut up. No, you shut up. You are the one who dragged your feet. You are the one who let her record things. You are the one who could not get your father to sign 4 stupid documents. Brooke. What? Are we still acting like you did all this out of love? Please. You wanted the money just as much as I did. The room sharpened. Connor stared at her. I stayed still. Brooke realized too late that anger had opened a door. Connor turned toward me, voice low. She was going to ruin us. Rachel? Yes, Rachel. My wife. My mother, he snapped. Do you think I do not know that? Do you think I do not hear her voice every night? Good. He flinched. I leaned forward. Good. I hope she keeps talking. His face twisted. You do not get to judge me. You were upstairs sleeping while she spiraled. You did not see her digging through statements, calling banks, threatening Brooke. You did not see the mess she was making. I see it now. No, he said. You see what she wanted you to see. Brooke grabbed Connor's arm. Stop talking. He shook her off. She cornered me that night. Said she had changed the will. Said she would go to the police. Said she would make sure I never worked in finance again. My heart pounded so hard I could hear it. What did you do? Connor's eyes locked onto mine. I made a choice, Brooke whispered. Connor. He did not stop. I changed her medication schedule. Not enough for anyone to question. Enough for her heart to fail under stress. She had risk factors. It would look natural. It did look natural. The kitchen disappeared around me. Rachel on the floor. Me upstairs. Connor standing in the house afterward, hugging me with arms that had already betrayed us. I said, "You killed her." Connor's face went blank. I solved a problem. My thumb pressed the panic button once. Then again. Then again. Brooke heard the tiny clicks. Her eyes dropped to my pocket. "You stupid old..." The back door burst open. Detective Grant came in first, weapon drawn, voice like a slammed gate. "Portland Police. Hands where I can see them." Brooke screamed. Connor stood frozen. 2 officers entered behind Grant. Calvin appeared at the side entrance. Dana rushed in after them, face pale but focused. Connor looked at me. For the first time since this began, he looked genuinely shocked. "You recorded me." I stood. "Rachel taught me." Brooke pointed at Connor. "He is lying. He is unstable. He trapped us." Dana held up her phone. "The smoke detector heard you too." Brooke's mouth closed. Detective Grant cuffed Connor at my kitchen table. He did not resist. He stared at the wood grain like he could still find a legal loophole between the lines. Brooke fought. Not physically. Worse. She talked. "This is his fault," she said, jerking her chin toward Connor. "He handled Rachel. He handled the accounts. I just signed what he told me to sign." Connor looked up slowly. The betrayal in his face might have been funny in another universe. "You begged me to fix it," he said. "I begged you to keep us safe. You said Rachel was disposable." Brooke went white. Detective Grant looked at Dana. Dana looked at me. I said nothing. Sometimes silence is not weakness. Sometimes silence is a door locking. By noon, Connor was in custody. Brooke was in a separate interview room, trying to trade him for mercy. Their phones, laptops, office files, and company records were seized. The medical examiner reopened Rachel's case. Her clinic records showed no natural explanation strong enough to override the new evidence. Pharmacy records showed Connor had accessed medication information through a client connection he had no right to use. The psychiatrist who wrote letters about my supposed decline admitted he had never evaluated me. Grace testified. Martin traced the money. Leo authenticated the glasses. Rachel's voice became evidence, not memory, evidence. The story hit local news after the district attorney filed charges. I did not watch the coverage. Dana did, because she believed in knowing what lies were being sold. Connor's lawyer claimed grief, pressure, emotional collapse. Brooke's lawyer claimed coercion. The private lenders claimed they barely knew either of them. Everybody became innocent at the same time. The trial began in February, under rain that seemed determined to wash the city into the river. I sat on the witness stand and told the truth in pieces small enough not to choke on. Rachel's glasses, Leo's back room, the safe deposit box, the forged papers, the staged decline, the kitchen confession. Connor watched me the whole time. Not with remorse, with calculation. Even then, he was measuring angles. His attorney stood for cross-examination. "Mr. Miller, you loved your wife deeply, correct?" "Yes." "You were devastated by her death." "Yes." "You wanted someone to blame." "I wanted the truth. And once you believed your son was involved, every ambiguous fact became proof to you, did it not?" "No." "You never considered that your wife may have misinterpreted financial transactions?" "She recorded him threatening her." "You never considered that Connor's so-called confession was the result of emotional manipulation?" He called killing her solving a problem. The courtroom went still. The attorney tightened his jaw. "Mr. Miller, is it possible you hate your son?" I looked at Connor. He stared back. "Yes." A ripple moved through the courtroom. His attorney's eyes lit up like he had caught me. I continued before he could speak. "I hate what he did. I hate what he became. I hate that my wife died afraid because our son loved money more than mercy. But hate did not forge the documents. Hate did not steal the trust money. Hate did not put words in his mouth in my kitchen. He did that." The attorney had no clean follow-up. Dana told me later that was the moment the jury stopped seeing a bitter father and started seeing a man who had nothing left to decorate. Brooke testified against Connor to save herself. It did not save her. On the stand, she tried to cry. The prosecutor played her call to me. Rachel understood it too late. Brooke's tears stopped working. Grace testified about fake invoices and staged memory incidents. Martin explained the money trail so clearly that even I understood it. Leo spoke quietly about Rachel's glasses and how scared she had been when she asked for the recording module. Then the prosecutor played Rachel's final message. The courtroom heard my wife say, "Do not trust our son." Connor finally looked down. Not when they discussed money. Not when they discussed forged medical notes. Not when Brooke blamed him. Only when Rachel's voice filled the room. I wondered if shame had finally found a crack. Then I saw his hand. He was writing notes to his attorney. Still working. Still calculating. The verdict came after less than a day. Guilty on financial exploitation of a vulnerable adult. Guilty on forgery. Guilty on conspiracy. Guilty on manslaughter in Rachel's death after the jury rejected the highest charge but accepted that his actions caused her fatal collapse. Guilty on attempted coercive control related to my conservatorship petition. Brooke was convicted on fraud, conspiracy, witness intimidation, and elder exploitation. Connor stood while the verdict was read, face empty. Brooke sobbed loudly until the judge told her to stop performing. Sentencing came weeks later. I did not write a long victim statement. Rachel would have hated that. She preferred sharp knives to heavy hammers. I stood at the lectern and faced the judge. My wife spent her last weeks documenting the truth because she understood our son better than I did. He tried to take her voice. He tried to take my rights. He tried to turn grief into a business plan. I am not asking the court to punish a bad son. I am asking the court to protect the next person he decides is inconvenient. Then I sat down. Connor asked to speak. The judge allowed it. He turned toward me. "Dad, I know you think I am a monster. I did not move. I made mistakes. Terrible mistakes. But I was under pressure nobody understood. Brooke's lenders were threatening us. Mom was going to destroy my career. I panicked. I need help, not a cage. Please, you are my father." There it was again. Not remorse. A hook. The judge asked if I wanted to respond. I stood. Connor's eyes met mine. For one heartbeat, I saw the child he had been, mud on his shoes, gap in his teeth, running toward me with a report card in his hand. Then I saw Rachel's glasses on Leo's workbench. I said, "A son asks for mercy before he destroys his mother, not after." Connor looked away. The judge sentenced him to decades in state prison. Brooke received years of her own, plus restitution that would follow her like a shadow. Their assets were frozen. Her business collapsed. His licenses were revoked. The house stayed mine. Rachel's revised will was honored. The scholarship fund received the money she wanted it to have. That should have felt like victory. It felt like standing in a room after a fire, grateful the flames were gone, surrounded by smoke damage. Months later, I took Rachel's repaired glasses home. Leo had fixed the hinge. He had also removed the recording module and placed it in a small evidence envelope after the trial. The glasses were just glasses again. I put them back on her desk under the window. The crossword was still unfinished. I sat in her chair and filled in one clue, a word meaning final. I wrote closure, then crossed it out. Closure was too neat. There was no closure for watching your child become someone who could measure a parent's life against a bank transfer. There was only aftermath. There was waking up, making coffee, answering calls from Dana, donating Rachel's nursing books, learning which rooms still hurt at sunset. One afternoon, a letter arrived from Connor. The prison return address was stamped in blue. I let it sit on the kitchen table for 3 days. Then I opened it. "Dad, I am doing what the counselor says. I am taking responsibility. I know I hurt you. I know Mom is gone because of choices I made. I think about that every day. I hope someday you can visit. I hope someday we can talk as father and son. I have lost everything. Please, do not make me lose you too." I read it twice. There were better words in it. Cleaner words. Maybe a counselor had helped. Maybe prison had scraped the performance off him. Maybe a tiny piece of my son still existed in that cage. Maybe not. I folded the letter and placed it in Rachel's desk drawer. I did not answer. Not because I wanted him to suffer. Because Rachel had asked me to save myself. The final part of my revenge was not prison. It was not the money. It was not Brooke crying in court or Connor losing the polished life he had killed to protect. The final part was this. I kept living in the house he tried to steal. I funded Rachel's scholarship. I gave a speech to the first nursing student who received it. I stood in a room full of young people who wanted to heal strangers. And I said Rachel Miller believed careful people could change the world. I did not mention Connor. That was the cruelest thing I could do. I made him irrelevant. On the anniversary of Rachel's death, I made coffee, opened the windows, and sat at the kitchen table. Rain tapped the glass. The house sounded old and alive. I looked at the chair where Connor had confessed, then at the desk where Rachel's glasses waited in sunlight. I whispered, "You were right." The house did not answer. It did not need to. Before all of this, I thought love meant holding on no matter what. After Rachel, I learned love can also mean letting the right person disappear from your life before they drag you into the grave they dug for someone else. Connor was my son. That fact did not save Rachel. It did not excuse him. It did not obligate me to become his next victim. So I chose my wife's truth over my son's blood. I chose evidence over denial. I chose silence over another letter. And now I am asking you, if you found out your only child helped destroy the person you loved most, would you visit him in prison because he was still family, or would you leave him with the consequences he created?